Hi everyone, I'm Adrian. Thank you for choosing this video. As you can tell from the title, today I will be figuring out which Ariana song is number 1. Of course, this is my opinion, so understand that. I'm going to settle this once and for all within myself, sort of March Madness style. I'm going to use a bracket system. The songs are already randomized, so I didn't place them anywhere specific. That's just how this goes. Okay, so this is round 1. Round 1, I'm gonna try and do it a little bit fast, just because there are a lot of songs that I have to get through. Alright, so the first 2 songs are Every Day versus One Last Time. One Last Time's gonna take it. Next we have Side to Side versus Into You. This was a tough decision for me, but I did give it to Side over Into You. I went back and I listened to both the songs, and I just feel like Side to Side has more power than Into You. Especially when you see it live, it's really great. After that, we have Almost Is Never Enough versus The Way. I'm going to give it to The Way. Then we have Better Left Unsaid to Dangerous Woman. I'm going to give this one to Dangerous Woman. After that, we have Bang Bang versus Love Me Harder. Love Me Harder is going to take it this round for me. Next, we have Let Me Love You versus Ghostin'. I'm going to give it to Ghostin'. After that, we have Honeymoon Avenue versus Needy. This was also a really tough decision for me because I feel both the songs are very similar. But Honeymoon Avenue ended up edging out Needy. I know, I am so sorry. I love Needy with all my heart. But when I went back and listened to them, just the way that Honeymoon Avenue starts off, it's just so nostalgic. So I had to give Honeymoon Avenue the edge. After that, we have Imagine versus NASA. I gave this one to Imagine. Then we have Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored versus Goodnight and Go. I gave this one to Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored, even though Goodnight and Go is a very cute song and I really like it. Breathin' versus Successful. I almost went with Successful on this one, but when I went back and listened to the songs, Breathin' won, so I ended up going with Breathin'. Then we have Seven Rings versus Sweetener. I gave this one to Seven Rings. I will say though, Sweetener Live is amazing. Then we have Bad Idea versus Break Your Heart Right Back. I'm going to give this one to Break Your Heart Right Back just because that song is a fucking bop. Then we have Right There versus Sometimes. I'm going to give this one to Right There just because, like I said, it's a classic Ariana Grande song, and when I go back and listen to it, it makes me really happy. After that, we have Popular Song versus Only One. I'm going to give this to Only One, a very cult classic Ariana Grande favorite. Only One, you have made it to round 2. After that, we have New Better Forever Boy versus Moonlight. I'm going to give this one to New Better Forever Boy just because that song is a lot of fun, and I really like the breakdown halfway through. After that, we have Touch It versus Focus. Touch It is going to take this. We all know what happened to Focus. From there, we have Best Mistake versus Thank You Next. Thank You Next is going to take this one. After that, we have Tattooed Heart versus Just a Little Bit of Your Heart. Tattooed Heart is the better song about hearts, in my opinion, this round. Lovin' It versus Problem. I'm going to give this one to Problem. Problem, you made it to round 2. I am surprised. Leave Me Lonely versus Every Time. Every Time, you are going to move on. Why Try versus In My Head. This one's going to go to In My Head. Be Alright versus Baby I. Be Alright, you're going to make it to round 2, girl. We all knew you were. Break Free versus Piano. Break Free. I'm just going to say Break Free is probably like the Ariana Grande song that got me into the fan base. So that's where I stand on it. And it's obviously better than Piano. After that, we have REM versus Get Well Soon. Get Well Soon, you're going to take it this round for me. Next, we have Makeup versus Better Off. I'm going to give this one to Better Off. I just think it's beautiful. I know there are makeup stands out there. I don't personally like it, and I just enjoy Better Off more. Next, we have God Is a Woman versus Bloodline. I'm going to give this one to God Is a Woman. After that, we have Fake Smile versus No Tears Left to Cry. No Tears Left to Cry, you're going to win. The Light Is Coming versus You'll Never Know. I'm going to actually give this one to You'll Never Know, an old Ariana Grande song. It's a lot of fun, and I mean, I do like The Light Is Coming, but it was a very controversial song, and I did not like it as much at first, so that is why it will not be moving on. Next we have Raindrops versus Thinking About You. I'm gonna go with Thinking About You. Raindrops is like 10 seconds long. Yeah, she sounds amazing, but what can I say? Then we have I Don't Care versus Be My Baby. I love both these songs, but I am a huge Be My Baby stan, so Be My Baby's gonna make it to round 2. After that, we have Santa Tell Me versus Greedy. Greedy's gonna take this one. And then finally, for round 1, we have My Everything versus Bad Decisions. And My Everything is going to beat out Bad Decisions. Okay, so that was round 1. I'm gonna move on to round 2. I will go a little bit more in depth if, like, the songs are a lot harder to choose between, and I will try and give you, like, sort of my experiences with the songs and why they might edge out another song that you might really like. Okay, so beginning round 2, we have One Last Time versus Side to Side. They're both great, but One Last Time, we all know it's sort of a memory for One Love Manchester, and it has a lot of emotional baggage connected to it, so it's definitely going to move on to round 3. Next we have The Way versus Dangerous Woman. I love both of them, but Dangerous Woman is that bitch. Love Me Harder versus Ghostin'. So this was a little bit hard. I love Ghostin' and I love Me Harder. I went with Love Me Harder just because I can only listen to Ghostin' in very specific moods, and I don't really find myself going back to that song. It's just really heavy, so I'm going to go with Love Me Harder. Next we have Honeymoon Avenue versus Imagine. These songs are really similar in my opinion, and the one that I'm going to choose is Imagine. And I know, I just feel like Imagine is a more grown-up version of Honeymoon Avenue, and that's like the only song that we get those high notes from Ariana Grande in so far, so it's going to win. After that, we have Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored versus Breathin'. I'm going to give this one to Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored. Sorry, Breathin' stands, but Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored I just like it better. Next, I have Seven Rings versus Break Your Heart Right Back. They're both really fun, but Seven Rings it's a better song. Right There versus Only One is next. I know a lot of people love Only One, and I do too, but it's not better than Right There in my opinion. Right There has a music video. When you go back to it, it just gives you classic Ariana Grande feels, so that is why it won this round for me. Next, we have You Better Forever Boy versus Touch It. This is really hard. I kind of wanted to choose You Better Forever Boy, but I just know deep down in my heart it's not a better song than Touch It, so I had to go with Touch It. After that, we have Thank You Next versus Tattooed Heart. I am so sorry, Tattooed Heart, but Thank You Next is a movement, and she has to move. After that, we have Problem versus Every Time. Every Time, you're gonna move on, girl, you're gonna move on. Problem, I'm sorry. I am happy that you made it to round 2, but you will not be moving on. After that, I have In My Head versus Be Alright. This one was really tough for me just because they're both beautiful songs, but I had to give it to Be Alright just because that song has just helped me out through like a lot of hard times, and even now when I'm feeling down, I'll just go back and put on Be Alright and I'll feel so much better. And In My Head it's so good, but it's not a Be Alright. I'm so sorry. After that, we have Break Free versus Get Well Soon. Like I said, Break Free is the reason that I listen to Ariana Grande, so it's going to move past Get Well Soon. I do love Get Well Soon a lot, but it just doesn't have that same sort of connection that I have to Break Free. After that, Better Off versus God Is a Woman. God Is a Woman is going to take it in this round for me. Next, we have No Tears Left to Cry versus You'll Never Know. I do love You'll Never Know, but No Tears Left to Cry is f***ing bop, so she's moving on. After that, we have Thinking About You versus Be My Baby. Like I said, I am a huge Be My Baby stan, so it is a song that I chose to move on. I'm sorry, I know it's going up against Thinking About You. I know there's a lot of people who really love that song. I totally get it. But I just don't like it as much as Be My Baby. And then finally, we have Greedy versus My Everything. Greedy, you are that bitch, but you cannot beat out My Everything, and I am sorry. Alright, so that was round 2. Now we are going to move on to the Sweet 16, the top 16 Ariana Grande songs. This might get a little bit crazy. I might have to go into more explanation. We'll see. Okay, so the first two songs that are gonna go up against each other are One Last Time and Dangerous Woman. My God, I had a really hard time picking between these two. And I love One Last Time, and I know what it stands for in the culture, in the fan base, but I had to give Dangerous Woman the win. I just, go back and listen to Dangerous Woman, listen to the live one, it's so good. I'm sorry, but Dangerous Woman is just so good. She's that bitch. Okay, next we have Love Me Harder versus Imagine. Imagine, you're gonna win. Then we have Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored versus Seven Rings. So we have Ariana Grande's second single from Thank You Next and her third single from Thank You Next going up against each other. I'm gonna give it to Seven Rings. I know they're both really great, but I listen to Seven Rings more than I do Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored. So it's going to beat out Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored. I'm sorry. Next we have Right There versus Touch It. I'm gonna give this one to Touch It just because it is a better song than Right There, even though Right There you are a beautiful song. I love you so much, but just the way Ariana Grande sings Touch It is, no one can really compare, no one can touch it. After that, we have Thank You Next versus Every Time. I love you every time. You know how many times I've replayed you, but girl, I cannot put you ahead of Thank You Next. I'm sorry. After that, we have Be Alright versus Break Free. I'm sorry, Break Free, but I have to put Be Alright past. Be Alright. I just want to be alright, and I need that song to be alright, and I'm sorry, Break Free. I'm so sorry. After that, we have God Is a Woman versus No Tears Left to Cry. No Tears Left to Cry is a better song, so she is going to move on. God Is a Woman, you put up a good fight. We love you, bitch. Mwah. After that, finally, for the Sweet 16, we have Be My Baby versus My Everything. Be My Baby will not win this round for me. My Everything is obviously a better song, and my delusion about Be My Baby being a great song is going to end here. But she did put up a good fight, and I really love her. But My Everything will move on past this round. Okay, so next we have the top 8. This is getting down to the wire. I'm excited. I'm also nervous. I don't know. So the first two in the final 8 that are going to go up against each other are Dangerous Woman and Imagine. I know what I've said about Imagine before, how she is that bitch. She's given us the Ariana Grande high notes. But I tell you, Dangerous Woman, just go back. Please go back and listen to it. It's amazing. So, Dangerous Woman, girl, you're moving on. You're moving on, Dangerous Woman, you're moving on. Next, we have Seven Rings versus Touch It. This one, this was hard for me, but I gave it to Seven Rings. I just looked at what it's done for the culture, and Seven Rings is just, she was one of Ariana Grande's biggest hits. The production is beautiful. She did trap, she rapped, and she made a number 1. So, like, Seven Rings is gonna move on. After that, we have Thank You Next versus Be Alright. I am fucking set. Because let me tell you, both of these songs are amazing, and both of these songs could be competing for number 1 right now, and I wouldn't be able to choose. But now you're telling me I have to choose to put them in the top 4? They both deserve to go to number 1. Okay, so moment of truth. I gave it to Thank You Next over Be Alright. But Thank You Next, like I said, it's just a part of the movement. It was culturally massive. It was another Ariana Grande number 1. Her first number 1, which I will not forget. And yes, Be Alright is really that bitch, and she will make you feel better. But Thank You Next is a pop cultural moment, and I can't just not include that in my judgment. So Thank You Next, you will move on. Finally, for the top 8, we have No Tears Left to Cry versus My Everything. I love you, My Everything. I know you are a beautiful song, but No Tears Left to Cry is that bitch. I love her. So she is moving on. Alright, we are down to the final 4. Oh my god, we got the final 4 songs. After this round, there will be 2 songs left. And those 2 songs will go head to head. But until then, we gotta finish this. Okay, so the first 2 songs facing off are Dangerous Woman versus 7 Rings. Let's look at the material. Dangerous Woman, the lead single off Ariana Grande's Dangerous Woman album. It was a top 10 hit, sold a bunch of records, massive. It was a departure for Ariana Grande. She was becoming more mature. She was getting into her bunny moment, her Dangerous Woman moment. It was iconic. And when you go back and you listen to that song, I know I keep saying this, but when you go back and you listen to that song, or you listen to the live version, like, she just knocks it out of the park with her vocals. And 7 Rings is a great song. Like, it's a lot of fun, but it doesn't get you the way that Dangerous Woman gets you live. So in that regard, coming down to the live performances, Dangerous Woman will move on to the top 2. Dangerous Woman is in the top 2 right now. Dangerous Woman is one of Ariana Grande's top 2 songs. Damn. Alright, so the other 2 songs that are competing right now for a spot in the final 2 are Thank You Next and No Tears Left to Cry. Now let me tell you, I'm upset because these songs, I know I already said this before, these songs should just be both competing for the number 1 spot. They're both her lead singles from her 4th and her 5th studio album. They're both amazing. When you think about them culturally, Thank You Next was a pop culture moment. No Tears Left to Cry was Ariana Grande's first song back from Manchester, the Manchester bombings. Like, we were all waiting for that. I remember that night. I remember the fucking intro. And in that regard, No Tears Left to Cry is gonna take out Thank You Next. I cannot believe right now that is happening. But that is what's happening. Damn. Alright, guys. So we've made it to the final 2. Alright, Ariana, are you ready? Dangerous Woman versus No Tears Left to Cry. Dangerous Woman. Dangerous Woman. No Tears Left to Cry. Making this decision is crazy. I didn't realize it was going to come down to these 2 songs. But now that it has, the decision is a little bit easier for me this round than it has been prior. And that is because when I think back about my experiences with both the songs and them coming out and the build-up and the album and the era and the tour, the Dangerous Woman tour versus the Sweetener tour, like, I have to give it to No Tears Left to Cry. When that song came out, it was a moment. It was Ariana Grande's first song in forever. Live, No Tears Left to Cry is everything. It's beautiful. I know it's only in the music video, but that entrance in the beginning is everything. And I love Dangerous Woman, and it live is amazing, but No Tears Left to Cry really is Ariana's number 1 song. That's it, we're done. We did the bracket. There ain't no more songs. No Tears Left to Cry, she's number 1. I hope you enjoyed watching that. It was a lot of fun making. If you want to see me make more videos, sort of maybe more of this bracket style kind of video, let me know. I would be glad to do it again. I've had some ideas, but if you guys want to shoot me things, that would be cool too. What I was going to say is,